DOW Dits on Wrestling.
Hello and welcome to the Dits on Wrestling podcast with me, your host, Cap'n Dits, on the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod. Probably. So we got a big DOW Draft That episode today, and I'm really excited about this one because it's not actually drafting wrestlers this week. We are drafting finishing moves. And who else better to join me for such an incredible draft topic? None other than Mr. Warren Hayes. He's coming on to draft finishers with me, and I'm excited. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be fun. Really looking forward to it. He's been a guy who I've appreciated for months now, and it's a great get for the show to have him on here. Somebody of his caliber, flying under the DOW umbrella for one night only. But he has an open invitation like anybody who comes on this show, because if you're invited to come on, it means I like you. Okay? It means I like you. So it means you can come on whenever you want. I like to share the wealth. Share the wealth. So this episode, usually drafts don't really have that much in way of rules attached to them. The first one we did with Anthony Talk Stuff doing the current roster of WWE Superstars, that had rules, because I wanted to mix it up a little bit. I wanted to be, X amount of Raw and SmackDown guys and then X amount of NXT guys. There's a rule straight away. Tag teams count as one, blah, 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 blah. But since then, it's just been a simple case of take your pick. It literally has been as simple as that. But today, we have rules again. So finishing moves. I mean, the big one here is that you can have only one variation of a move. So if somebody has let's just use a stunner as an example. Stone Cold Stunner, if you go for that, you can't go and pick Kevin Owens' stunner. You can't go and pick anybody else's stunner. I don't know who else does stunners in the world of wrestling. Probably quite a few people, but you can only pick the one. Same with a cutter. You can only use one variation. So if you want to go with an RKO, which is, kind of a cutter, you can't then go, I want the diamond cutter, DDP. You can't go and do that. Tag team finishers count as well. And, to be honest, that's it. They're the only two rules, guys. Not much to keep track of. And now, of course, the dower-ups are back in play as well. We have the Steel, the ever-popular Steel dower-up, which is available for use from the 5th round onwards. So if I fancy somebody's finishing move that Warren has picked, I will go Steel, and I will take it. Of course, I will sacrifice one of my own picks, but I'm only going to steal for something better than mine. So he will, of course, then have to replace his pick and bump up his list. And, of course, he can steal from me as well. It's not just a one-sided thing. I might be the host, but I don't take advantage like that, okay? And then we have the swap dower-up. Hasn't been used. Not once. I've changed it up a little bit as well. It's not going to be a case of, at the end, we mutually decide if we want to swap between each other's brands. No. It has changed now where at the end of the draft, we have our 10 picks in place. You have the option to use your swap dower up now to take out one of your first 4 picks and replace them with somebody in your reserves. So if you go straight out and go, just make a choice straight away just because you think it's right in your first top 4. Because they can't be stolen, so you feel confident, you feel good about picking it. And then you kind of actually look at your reserves at the end and go, you know what? I think this is more suited based on the picks that I've made, and more importantly, based on the picks of my opponent. Strategy comes into play here. You can then swap them out. And it really is as simple as that. A steal and a swap. And of course, more will come. But that's all you guys need to know. So let's get into this, shall we? It's Warren versus the draft master, Cap'n Dits himself. You guys chose finishing moves, and we are going to draft that.
Draft that. That.
Joining me this week on DOW Draft That is none other than Mr. Warren Hayes. Warren, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me, Dits. It's a pleasure to be here.
I mean, this is a get for my show. I don't care what anybody says. Like, I've been watching your show for a while now. It's one of those rare ones where, like, YouTube completely throws me off, and I completely forget that it's even there for, like, wrestling podcasters. So, like, seeing you do it, Smart to Death doing it, I think the Wrestling Reverb are starting to do it now. It seems to be the in thing.
I guess, quite frankly, I just stumbled into it, and I started doing YouTube, and I just continued doing YouTube, and then at some point it's like, oh, I should record the audio too and put it on a podcast as well. So it's basically, I don't know, it's just something that I've been doing since the start, and it just feels natural, and it's grown since then, and I'm really happy about it. I do the show live. And I like doing it live, and that's I guess that's the main reason why I stick with YouTube now. Is just because you're able to interact with the audience as you're going along, and that's really fun. I have a nice group of people who for some reason decide to take some time out of their Thursday evenings to come listen to me rant, and I have some wonderful moderators who make sure that everything is cool there as well. So yeah, I mean it's just something, it just all meshes together. It's funny because I don't really think about the platform anymore. It's just sort of there, and it works.
Yeah, it does work. I mean, we'll get to the kissing of arses when we start plugging stuff at the end of the episode. But no, I mean, if nobody is watching your thing right now, they need to go check that out because it is bloody good. Bloody good.
Thank you.
So the focus of today's draft is finishing moves. Now, you went with women's wrestlers for the vote that went out to Twitter. And it was actually pretty close. I think it was like 54% for me and then 46% for you. That was desperate maths there trying to get that one right. And so it was actually pretty close. And I think actually that's the second time women's wrestlers have come up and come short, which is a shame because I actually wouldn't have minded doing women's wrestlers. In fact, when you said it and I went for finishers, I thought you had it. But Twitter has spoken. And we are doing finishing moves. Of course, we talked about the rules before we start recording. But for those listening, like just picture, like me and Warren have our own brands, and we just have Joe Blogs and just wrestlers with zero personalities. We've got Michael Magoogly Bollocks. We've got Stephanie Flip Flop, and we got Vince's favorite Andrew. He loves his one name people, so you've just got Andrew sitting in the corner. They're all finisherless. Yep. Finishers can give you personality as a wrestler, so that's what we need to do. That is our job today. We are drafting in finishers to give to these people.
I got to tell you, though, McGoogly Bollocks has just about enough personality as one can have with a name. I think he's fine. He can send him back to the line at the end of the line. He's good.
He could just have a standing elbow drop and he'll be absolutely perfectly fine. So before we do start drafting, we do a brand name for our respective brands. It's just a little bit of fun. I've gone for my brand name of Finish Him, and I actually thought that was quite good because I do enjoy Mortal Kombat. But you came in and completely trumped me with, I mean, obviously you're stateside, I am in England, check the accent, but you have trumped me with a British name for your brand, and it's pretty much put me down, really. You've gone with Finish and Chips.
Yeah, exactly. And the puns are on brand. If it's any consolation, Dits, if it'll make you feel better, like I live in Canada, right?
Canada, yes.
So we're part of the Commonwealth.
I'll take it.
So, like the fish and chips thing, but I relate. Like there's a level that I relate. So it's kind of natural for me to swerve into those waters. So it's fine.
Do you get fish and chips out there?
Yes, you like around here they're fine, but you head on over towards what we call the Maritimes provinces, which are right on the Atlantic. They're fishing communities. Ugh. Oh, you go to Nova Scotia, you get yourself a nice fish and chips from the pub. Dude, they're fantastic.
Oh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Just drench them in salt and vinegar as well.
Oh, that's the only way to eat them.
Oh, God, yeah. It's got me craving some fish and chips now. Oh, God. This is the worst thing. I've done this is two times I've done this now, and I've talked about food before drafting. It completely froze me off. And I lost the first time, so maybe that's a little bit of foreshadowing. My mind is on the food and not on the draft.
Don't draft on an empty stomach, Dits. Everyone knows.
To be fair, I did eat some Domino's like half an hour ago. That's late night eating. This is 20 past midnight. We're recording now. So about an hour ago, I was eating pizza.
Well, there you go. So that'll sustain you.
Because it's salty, and I don't have any liquids with me. That's rookie. That is fucking rookie. So as this goes on, you're going to slowly hear me go as we're getting through it. I'll just struggle on. My tortoise's water ball is actually sat right next to me, so if I have to dip into that. That's the brand names. Mine's Finish Him. Yours is Finish and Chips. And of course, you being the guest means that you have the honors of calling the coin flip for who gets first pick. So, is it going to be heads or is it going to be tails?
Let's go for tails. Come on, tails.
Everyone goes tails. Everybody goes tails.
Of course.
Here we go. The beautiful queen-type lady with the blue thing in her hair, and it's heads.
Ooh.
I think that's the first time it's actually gone my way.
Okay.
Apart
Good
from the one time
Congratulations.
you got gifted. I'll take it. I'll take whatever I can fucking get. I'm 4-1 down in this Draft That series, so I'm taking the fucking first pick.
It's okay, and I'm completely okay with it. You go first. You'll pass out from dehydration, but at least you'll go first.
There'll just be dead silence. Around the 35-minute mark, there'll just be dead silence, and you'll just be like, Oh, it's already started. So round one of DOW Draft That, finishing moves. Oh, I have gone for something very, very good straight out of the gates. There's no strategy involved yet. There's no tactics involved yet until things start getting put on the playing field. But I like impact with my finishing moves, and I like something that's quick. I like something that you can counter a move spectacularly with a finisher. This is one of those finishers. I'm just going to go straight into it. It's an RKO.
Good choice.
I'm taking the RKO. And the only reason I take the RKO straight away is because I watched Raw a couple of hours ago, and Ricochet ate a fucking incredible RKO, and he sold the hell out of it. And I was looking at it, I was like, I cannot overlook it. I cannot overlook an RKO. It is meme-worthy. It is out of nowhere. That's the whole thing behind it. It rarely do people kick out of the damn thing. Like, it's a very, very, very strong finisher, and it always looks good. Especially against smaller guys who fly all over the ring and then get hit. Or when Seth Rollins did that thing at WrestleMania 31, I think it was, when he went for the curb stomp, popped up, and bang, RKO. Oh, God. I'd say that was my favorite RKO I've ever seen. But stuff like that makes it my number one pick for finishers. So McGoogly Bollocks is going to get the RKO as his finishing move.
He gets the name and the like probably one of the best finishers, the most protected finishers out there. I thought Ricochet died. Like, I thought he was dead, figuratively speaking, of course. And I really hope that when they all went backstage, Randy Orton gave him a big old thank you, a hug. It's like, dude, I'm going to get you a Christmas card this year. Thank you so much. And he reaches out to shake his hand, and Ricochet's like, you know what, buddy, I'm not going to shake your hand, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
I mean, it did look, ow. I don't know if Ricochet completely meant to twist his neck to the point where he nearly snapped it, but it looked good.
It looked fantastic, but probably not.
Yeah, it probably actually hurt him a little bit, bless him. But he's a master of selling, Ricochet. I will give him that.
Yep.
And he would sell the hell out of McGoogly Bollocks' RKO. I can tell you that for free. So, RKO is my first pick. What is your first pick?
All right. I have decided to go straight off the bat with one of the most legendary, devastating finishers in the history of professional wrestling. In the entire history, Dits, I don't think there is one finisher that compares to this one, regardless of how well Ricochet sells an RKO.
The
Are you ready for my... Come on, no. Much better than the Worm. Much more believable than the Worm.
Are you telling me the Worm is not believable? Come on.
As a finisher, it's not. As a dance move, it's fine. But my first pick is going to be, are you ready for this, Dits? My first pick is the leg drop of doom.
Oh, shit.
And you know why, Dits? I decided to pick this. I'm saying Dits a lot, but it's a lot of fun to say. You know why?
Go on.
The leg drop of doom. There is not a single finisher out there that has the pedigree of having defeated so many people, so many high-class, top-tier talent than Hulk Hogan's leg drop of doom has. It has defeated Andre the Giant. It has defeated Ric Flair, Roddy Piper, Big Boss Man, King Kong Bundy, Big John Studd, Terry Funk, Dits. It's defeated Terry Funk.
Oh,
Sting. Kevin Nash. You will be unable to find a finisher with such pedigree and utmost devastation for something so simple as lifting your ass up in the air and then dropping your leg awkwardly across the upper chest of another man. Randy Savage lost to the leg drop of doom. That's my first pick.
I mean, you fucking sold that better than anything that leg drop has been sold ever. I mean, if anyone's listening to this and doesn't believe that the leg drop of doom is the greatest finisher of all time after that speech, there is no hope for you.
Exactly. Thank you.
But you can't argue with that list of accolades, to be fair.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. World champions have been toppled on numerous occasions to the leg drop of doom. You kidding me?
I mean, I was definitely not expecting that at all. Like, it didn't even enter my mind when I was coming up with my own finishing moves. Like a fucking leg drop. Jesus. So if I literally just put, like, when I do the graphic of our drafts, I'm not going to put if I didn't put who did the moves, it would be RKO. Everyone's like, oh yeah, everyone knows the RKO. Of course they do. And then it would just be leg drop. I'm like,
yep.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
But this is why they need to listen to the show, because if they hear your speech, then they know.
I mean, I feel I've already won. Like, we can just end the show here and go grab a drink. I mean, to me anyway. But that's just me, right? That's just me.
I mean, I'm looking down my list.
I could give you a sporting chance.
I'm looking down my list to see if people actually have kicked out of that many of the finishes that I've got. See, strategy and tactics are already in play.
But, I mean, there have been people who have kicked out of the leg drop of doom. Triple H has kicked out of it. Sting has kicked out of it, but he's also lost to it. I mean, but you see, it's not the question of how protected necessarily it was, because it was super protected. It's more like, man, how many people can say my finisher took out Andre the Giant on one hand and Ric Flair on the other? Not a lot of people can say that.
That's true. I don't think anybody can say that.
Right.
Thinking about it.
Right.
Oh. Ooh. Dits is on the fucking ropes with a leg drop of doom. All right. So I need to hit you back with something else that's pretty damn iconic in the finishing move picture. And this is round 2, of course. If you look at the Attitude Era, and you look back at all the finishers, not even finishers, just like iconic imagery of the Attitude Era. Like, there is one move that I'm sure will crop up in numerous stills, pictures, photos, either on WWE.com itself or just any highlight packages or anything like that. This move is always there. And it did belong to, arguably, the biggest star of the Attitude Era. The guy who, I mean, you could argue it as well, that maybe he saved WWF, as it was back then, against WCW when they were having their little feud. It's the Stone Cold Stunner, baby.
Oh, I thought you were going for the Famouser.
No.
Billy Gunn. The guy who saved WWF. Sorry. Do go on.
I mean, to be fair, actually, I was actually on in my reserve list. I was like, I actually quite like the Famouser. It's a great move and it's a great name. But no, it is unfortunately shelved. Is the Famouser? I hope you pick the Famouser, to be honest.
We'll see.
But I've gone with the Stone Cold Stunner because it's fucking incredible. A kick to the gut, and then you just drag their fucking sorry ass down onto your shoulder. Boom. Rarely does anybody kick out of that damn thing, and it opens up a perfect sell job by the person receiving it. I mean, I'm looking at The Rock. I'm looking at Scott Hall, WrestleMania 18. I'm looking at even Shane McMahon could take a decent stunner. Vince, questionable, but he could still take one in his own unique old man way. Like, it's just an incredible move.
And I mean, it's so, and you're right when you call it iconic, because even to this day, we see the stunner, whoever pulls it out, and instantly we think of Stone Cold. Like, regardless of who's pulling it off. Of course, it's sort of been transferred over to Kevin Owens these days, but you have David Finlay in New Japan, who it's technically his finisher, and it's just whenever you see it, you're like, the first time I saw David Finlay pull it, I sat back like, I wonder if he asked Stone Cold if he could use it. Like, that's the first thing that came into my mind.
Because you think of the stunner, Stone Cold is the face that pops up in your head. So it's just that automatic assumption. I believe actually Kevin Owens did speak to Austin about it.
Yes.
And I think Austin said it was shit when he did. He was like, yeah, it's shit.
You know who did? Yeah, did you see the? I don't know if you had an opportunity to see. Stone Cold's. I guess it's a talk show, whatever it is. His variety show. I forget what it's called. He had Becky Lynch on it.
Oh, and she gave him the stunner. Is that it?
And that was she delivered a prime stunner. Like, that it was really, really good.
And
it was
he
really
sold
good
it as well.
Hell yeah.
I mean, if you can sell your own finisher, then you're winning.
Sure, I agree. Good choice, Dits.
I'll take it. I'll take an RKO and stunner 1-2 combination.
All right, so I should come back with something equally strong, right?
Please be the Famouser, please.
Right. So I have to come back with something, and something as devastating, something that'll just take you down. So I'm going with a women's finisher.
Oh.
I'm going for Lacey Evans's women's right, Dits.
Oh shit.
A punch to the face is a finisher, Dits. Can you believe that? I mean, how devastating is that when all you have to do is uncork a right and you can end a match? Dits! How about that for a finisher? Now, some people, I've had this discussion with other people, and some people say, you know what, Warren, Lacey Evans, it's one thing, but I mean, Big Show, that was his finisher for a while, the WMD, and he's a big guy. It's much more credible. Hang on a second, you and your credibility talk. Lacey Evans is 3 times smaller than the Big Show, and she'll still knock your ass down to the mat with one noodle arm punch. She will. Women's right, Dits.
I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, it does the job.
Now, full disclosure, I hate punches as finishers. I despise them. But I'm having fun. My second pick in the draft is the women's right, because it just knocks you down. You're done. Finito. Not even Nia Jax could take Becky Lynch down with a punch to the face. But oh my God, stringy arm Lacey Evans can. That's the power of the women's right.
So you've gone for one of the weakest leg drops in wrestling and a punch to the face as your two first picks. Oh, dearie me. And I feel like people are gonna vote for you just based on the gutsy move of having a leg drop and a punch to the face.
Let's
straight out the gates.
Look, I'm not just a leg drop, the leg drop of doom, not just a punch to the face, the women's right.
Jesus, I don't stand a chance. Oh, okay. So it's a shame now because I really wanted to steal the women's right from you, but I can't.
You can't. It's in my top. I protected my top two.
See, now I feel like if I go for what I have as my third pick, I don't know. It just doesn't fit in with the draft anymore. I actually feel like I might have to bring in the worm just to kind of match pace with you.
Just to offset a little?
I'm not choosing the worm. I'm going to go with the caterpillar. No, I'm not doing that either. What we got? I actually might change things up a little bit here because there is one in my reserves that I'm looking at, and I always remember whenever I see it, whenever I look at like highlights from days gone by, like this is always one that I see and go, ooh, like every time I see it, it's like, ooh, ah. I'm going to change out my number 3, which of course I won't reveal because I will probably use it at some point during this 10, unless you decide to pick it yourself. I'm going to go with Bradshaw's Clothesline from Hell because
that's a good one. Yep.
Shit. Like, whenever he hit that on somebody, like, I thought they were dead. Like, Billy Gunn, I mean, we spoke about him with his Fame asset, but shit, he could sell the fuck out of a Clothesline from Hell. Like, it just, every single time, it just looks lethal. And it's not like Bradshaw holds back either. Like, he fucking goes for it every single time, and it always looks brutal. So I'm going with a Clothesline from Hell. So it's kind of like a punch, except it's an extended arm.
Let's be honest. It looks a lot better than just a punch to the face. Like, you know, wrestling is all about spectacle, and that's exactly what the JBL Clothesline from Hell. It's a great pick because the thing is that and technically speaking, Dits, it's not a clothesline. It is really a lariat that he does because when technically you lean into a lariat, whereas a clothesline you just like your arm stays straight and you sort of push with your arm. A lariat, it becomes a lariat when you really lean into it, and so that's essentially what he does. And it is crazy just how well. It's just crazy how well JBL pulled it off every time, and the people who sold it, holy hell! And I agree. This is a great pick you had.
I'm happy with it. I am happy with it. And you've just schooled people as well. Like you just hit them with some knowledge with the the lariat and clothesline. So people who didn't know the difference, now you do.
There you go. And you know. And if we're being completely, if we're going down the educational route, JBL took this from Stan Hansen because that was basically Stan Hansen's thing. It wasn't necessarily his finisher because Stan Hansen just threw lariats right and left until you didn't get up anymore, kind of thing. But it was a lariat. Stan the Man Hansen threw lariats. That's exactly what JBL would pull. It was fantastic. It was absolutely fantastic.
There you go. That's my third pick. Rocking it.
Good job.
Straight from hell. Boom. Third pick, Warren. I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
Okay, listen.
Don't disappoint.
We're gonna take it down a notch a bit. If we're being honest, we can't always be on these God level tier finishers the whole way through, but we're going to be close. We're going to be real close.
I mean, logically, a kick to the face would probably be the right way to go here.
You'd think so, but I am gonna go into the spectacle a bit. I'm even gonna go towards one of my favorite wrestlers in the world right now.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go with Kazuchika Okada's Rainmaker.
Ooh.
The spinning clothesline barrier or lariat. Anyway, this as far as protected finishers go, it's up there. Like, technically, I know Kenny Omega kicked out of it once, and that's pretty much it. I mean, it's a fantastic move, and it's one that can happen fairly quickly. Plus, there's variants that aren't as strong. Like, he has to hit the proper one because there's the spinning Rainmaker, which takes a guy down, but isn't as effective. It can't put him away because that was a previous version of his finisher. This is what I like with New Japan sometimes, is that the finishers have other versions of them, previous versions, and then when they evolve to a new version, the previous version of the finisher isn't as effective. I love that. I that's something I really dig. But the Rainmaker, it's iconic. It belongs to Okada, even when people, because it's basically it's a hammerlock, not a hammerlock, but a wrist lock lariat is what it is. And even people who pull that out on the indie circuit or whenever, unless it's literally on WWE TV, everybody is going to call it as a Rainmaker, regardless of what it is. That's how iconic it's become. That's how much we know it belongs to Okada now. He's taken out so many guys with that, ended so many matches with the Rainmaker. When you see it, you get excited. You're like, okay, well, that's it. It's one of those finishes like, whoop. That's done. We're finished. It's a huge, beautiful, climactic exclamation mark on any match that he has. I'm a big, big fan of the Rainmaker.
I mean, as perfect as that pick is, I'm a little bit gutted that you didn't follow the natural evolution of your draft so far and go with Naomi's ass to the face.
Well, now, hang on a second. Has she ever finished a match with that? Because isn't her finish like a split-legged something? A split-legged moonsault or something?
Maybe. I'm pretty sure she's.
We're not done here. We have a certain progression, but I like to mix things up, keep people on their toes. Like they're expecting something. And oh, this is actually a very reasonable answer. Thank you, Warren. Thank you. You're welcome.
People are going to be disappointed. You don't want to disappoint people when they're deciding who wins this thing.
For sure.
I don't even know what that thing's called. I just call it the ass to the face. Ass to mouth.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dear.
Oh, boy.
Oh, dear. Okay, so round 4. And this is the last set of picks for both of us where steals cannot be used. So you have to be smart. I say that, but I'm curious to see what you're going to go with. However, I'm going to go with... actually, I'm curious. What do I want to go with that you're not going to steal? I'm going to go... The person who does this move is fucking hated. Like, it's... I mean, I get it. I get the hate, but I personally am a fan. I am a fan of the guy. Like, his moveset is pretty fucking good. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, when I see him wrestle, yeah, it's not, as incredible as, like the best of wrestling across the globe. However, any move he does that comes with a little bit of impact, like with a bit of meaning behind it, it's like, ooh, that's a good move. But nothing is quite as good as his finisher. And to my knowledge, I think only maybe one person has kicked out of it so far, up to this point. I think he's been doing it for about 4, maybe 5 years. So that's not bad going. And I'm pretty sure the only person to kick out of it was Roman Reigns. I might be wrong. You could fact check me in a minute with this one. But my 4th pick is Baron Corbin's End of Days.
damn it.
I love that move.
Yeah.
I mean, in fact, like, still to this day, I will look at that move and go, how? How is like, not necessarily how he does it, but how the receiving person fucking does it. Like, how they kind of keep their body up in the air and then swing it all the way back through. It's just like, huh? Like, I've tried to slow it down and see how they did it. I was like, well, maybe you just have to be incredibly athletic to take it. But then you see guys like The Miz doing it, who's like the most careful fucking wrestler in the world because he doesn't want to hurt himself. It's just like, even he can do it. So, could I take a fucking End of Days and make it look fucking suave? Dunno. Maybe. But it always looks fucking good. So, End of Days, my 4th pick.
It's a great pick, and it is super protected in WWE. Like, it is really, really protected. I do think that Roman Reigns is probably like Roman Reigns does come to mind, and I can't think of anyone else. It's a very short list if anyone else has kicked out of the End of Days, and probably no one within the past 18 to 24 months. Yeah, it's super, super protected. I love it, and it looks fantastic. I love it. I agree. It's a good pick. It's a great pick.
I'm happy. And you can't steal it, so that's even better.
Well, don't steal this one.
Ooh.
Kairi Sane's insane elbow.
Nice.
Or all top rope elbow drops for one. But, like, you know, we can go back to Randy Savage and so on and so forth. But Kairi, and I watch NXT quite a bit, and I covered it a lot over at Fightful. And, you know, From when Kairi came in with the Mae Young Classic, and she started to do the and we all were introduced here in North America to the Insane Elbow. And I remember, you know, everyone was watching the Mae Young Classic. Everyone was freaking out on Twitter. It's like, oh my God, did you see that? Because she invests herself. So, like, she throws her entire body into the air, and the way she lands, like, she's constantly landing on her upper hips and her side. You know, it's like it's crazy the amount of punishment her body takes with every elbow. And then last year, she pulled out she started doing a submission move she calls the anchor. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that's good. That's good, because I feel like every time she does an insane elbow, she shaves off like 6 months from her career. The way she lands, like, there's no way for her to properly protect herself every time she does it. So I'm like, okay, well, if she's introducing another way to end her match, which will not require her to put her body into and anticipated decrepitude, then that's fine. I'm good with it. I was convinced for a while that was going to be like her main go-to finisher, but no, she switched back to the insane elbow. I'm all for people adding moves to their move set, you know, being innovative and trying out new stuff. That's always great. But it's such a treat to see every time. It's so spectacular. It's wonderful. She gets so much momentum off of it. She throws caution to the wind. Kairi Sane is a blessing. And that's the one I'm going to protect.
I mean, first things first, decrepitude is the word of the day. I love that. But no, like, I mean, it's, I think I actually tweeted this out, like, all the way back. It probably actually was the Mae Young Classic, actually. And I remember I saw it and I was just like, I'm going to throw this out there. I was like, that is the best elbow drop that anybody has ever done, because I don't know. There's just something that it just adds the way she just contorts herself, and like you said, that there is absolutely zero protection when she comes down. I mean, it is a thud when she hits the mat. But
it must be scary as hell to take it.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's not doing herself any favors every time she does it. You know, so all the more power to her. But, you know, at the same, like, this is the kind of move where I'm really torn, because on one end I'm like, I love it. It's so cool. But then I'm the kind of guy who I want all wrestlers to have long careers. I want them to have long, healthy careers. And every time I see it, I'm like, ooh, Kairi. You know, it's like, oh, baby, you don't have to do it. You don't have to do it every time.
I mean, hopefully now that she's a heel and in a tag team, like she can adopt the anchor. Did you say that was her submission now that she's been using?
The anchor, yes.
That's a natural thing to do as a heel, just to go get rid of the high flying,
the spectacular
look at
one,
this,
the fan
spectacular
favorite
thing. Yeah, get rid of that and just move on to a submission, because I think Io Shirai actually has started doing that a little bit. I mean, she still throws out the moonsault every now and then, but I think against Candice at the last takeover, she threw out a submission after hitting the moonsault, and it was just like boom, like that. It's just a heel thing to do.
Because she couldn't put Candice LeRae away. She that's why she broke out. I think it was like a Kimura or something, and Candice passed out. So because she hit the moonsault and Candice kicked out, and she was like, "What the fuck?" That's because Candice LeRae is tougher than you. She's tougher than all of us. That's the thing. Everyone knows that.
But no, it's a good pick, man. That's a good pick. And before we get into the fifth round, where steel is in play, just a little bit of a roundup of our picks so far. So my brand, I've gone with the RKO, which is now belonging to Magoogly Bollocks. That's his move now. The Stone Cold Stunner, Clothesline from Hell, and the End of Days. Who do you have so far?
Well, as my top pick, I have the Leg Drop of Doom, followed by the Women's Right. Then next we have the Rainmaker. I won't do the Kevin Kelly thing. I'll spare you all. And my fourth pick is Kairi Sane's Insane Elbow.
I mean, I was going to say like, that's 8 finishing moves that are absolutely fucking incredible. But then,
what? Yeah, of course.
I'll leave it at that. Yeah, they're incredible moves.
Goddamn right, they're incredible moves.
We'll assign the Women's Right to Andrew. I think he needs something like that. He can do a little variation on it. Vince would love it. One named guy with a punch as a finisher. Boom. World champion.
Love it. Strap a rocket to Andrew. Let's make this happen.
Ooh, right. So this is where things start to get interesting, and strategy comes into play. Tactics come into play. Steel is now in play. So fifth round of picks. So my fifth pick is that is completely unintentional, but actually kind of fits that little Terminator-esque little tune there. I love this finisher. I'm trying to think what it kind of is. I think I haven't actually seen much of it, because my exposure to anything outside of WWE is like literally only recently have I started broadening my horizons with the likes of AEW, NWA, MLW, Impact. I could list fucking hundreds of promotions. But this one guy is somebody who, even when I was in my little WWE bubble, I couldn't help but notice. And his finisher is something that I rather enjoyed. And honestly, most of it is in the name. Like, I don't know if you play video games, Warren, but I am a keen player of video games. And I do like the Final Fantasy series. Specifically Final Fantasy VII, and there is a piece of music in that game which is the same title as this finishing move. And this is where you turn around to tell me that it isn't a finishing move, and if you do, I will be absolutely devastated. But I'm pretty sure it fucking is, so I'm going with it. One-Winged Angel, Kenny Omega. That's what I'm going with.
Nerd!
I'm a fucking nerd, and I'm fucking proud of it. All right.
No, it's fantastic. It's a great choice. I'll be very, very transparent. I'm a big fan of Kenny Omega. You said that you're recently, dipping out of WWE. If you have the opportunity, do yourself a favor and watch the quadrology of matches that Okada and Omega have had during the course of 2017 and 2018. Trust me, you are going to have the best time of your life.
I've heard nothing but good things.
I mean, it's more than just good things. These are legendary modern classics that will live on. They're fantastic. That being said, and I love, because I want to preface this really clearly, I should say, I love Kenny Omega. He has a very risque yet performs safely set of moves, and I love what he does. I love what he represents, what he stands for. I'm not a fan of the One-Winged Angel because I find it's a clunky setup, you know, and it's really one of those finishers where you really, 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 really have to suspend your disbelief that like all the time that it took him to set him up, put him on his shoulders, and his opponent couldn't do anything, like nothing, absolutely nothing. But that's just me. I still dig it. It's fine. When I see it, I'm like, oh, okay. But it's just instinctively, it's not one of my go-tos.
I mean, way to shit on my fucking pick. Jesus Christ.
It's a good pick. It's a strong finisher. He's won world championships with that finisher. It's fantastic. It's recognizable, and it has a great name.
It does have a good name. I mean, to be fair, the pick is mostly based on the name. But I'll take it. I'll take it anyway.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
my turn.
Your turn.
I'm going to pull out. I'm going to pull out a move that's banned in WWE now.
Oh.
And I hate it. I hate it to death. But I know why it's been banned, and it's a shame. And it's also one of my favorite wrestlers who's had his finisher banned. It's Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It has always been such a good move, and Joe performing it just looked savage every time because he's a huge guy. And then he'd turn and face the hard cam and give you one of these scowls and then just drop on his ass and his back, just snapping the neck. I mean, it's a shame what happened to Tyson Kidd. That's, one botched finish, and WWE's like, no, we're not doing this anymore. And it's on one end, it's a wise move. Then on the other hand, you're like, well, it happened once and was an accident. You know, when Draws got paralyzed when he was wrestling D'Lo Brown, he got paralyzed because of a friggin' running power bomb. Dits, they didn't ban the power bomb after that. And power bombs have been executed millions of times since then on all sorts of promotions, on all sorts of stages. I understand that it's a riskier move than a power bomb, but an accident is an accident. If you can paralyze a guy performing a power bomb, just a freak, fluke, complete accident. Tyson Kidd thankfully wasn't as didn't end up like Draws, which he's completely paralyzed, lost use of his legs completely. Tyson Kidd, he's overall okay. He had to cut his wrestling career short, but anyway, look, the point is that I understand why it's banned, but I also really miss it because it looked savage. It was such a great finisher. It completed the package of Samoa Joe as a character. Yeah. Muscle Buster. I miss it.
And I think because it is banned, I completely forgot about it because it was always one of my favorite finishes. Like whenever I saw him going for it, it was just like, oh, here we go. Can't wait to see this. And the thing is now, WWE kind of... it's annoying because they tease it every couple of months. He gets them on the turnbuckle.
Yeah,
he starts to set it up, and then you're like, oh fucking hell, have they laxed with this thing? Are they bringing it back? And then no, they counter, and it's just like, oh, why would you do such a thing to me? But it's
Good point.
It is like you said, it's a freak accident. These things. I mean, a clothesline from hell could fucking paralyze you.
Sure.
A stiff punch could paralyze you. A stiff punch could do a lot of things to you. It's I don't know. It's just a little bit silly because, I mean, how many times has he delivered that thing? And out of every single one of them, one person's... I mean, it's a bad injury, but one person's been hurt. It seems a bit silly.
And the safest of moves could end up having really, really bad consequences. That's the nature of wrestling, But like I said, I understand that WWE has a very strict policy on anything that has to do with necks. That's why you don't see pile drivers on WWE television anymore. That's why Undertaker's the only guy who does a tombstone and can barely do it anymore without breaking a dude's neck. That's why we were all surprised when we started, earlier this year at the start of the year when Rey Mysterio and Andrade had their series of excellent matches on SmackDown when they started pulling out Canadian destroyers. We're like, what? what on WWE TV? This is okay. You know, I understand why they want to be careful with it, because it is something that puts a lot of pressure on the neck. I get it, but an accident's an accident.
I mean, I'm gonna bust your muscle right now, and I'm gonna fucking steal that shit.
You bastard!
I completely forgot about that move, as I said, and the moment you fucking said it, I was like, I don't care if there's something better that comes along. In Warren's picks, I'm fucking having that muscle buster as my own. So, that's your 5th pick, scored through with a pen. I've moved it over to my 6th pick, so which it does mean you get 2 picks in a row. It just means none of them are the muscle buster. Sorry, not sorry.
Well, let's pick this up then. Let's do it. Let's bring it along. How about a finisher that combines ferocity with dramatic setup without being too overly clunky, like the one-winged angel.
Just gonna stole your muscle
and
buster.
Also, yeah, the gloves are off now, buddy. And not only that, but fits into a certain type of wrestler person. Sister Abigail.
Ooh.
Also known as the Blade Runner over yonder in New Japan by one Jay White, the greatest heel in wrestling today. Sister Abigail, but I'm going to focus on Sister Abigail. Well, no, let's focus on Sister Abigail. What I've always loved about it is Bray always taking advantage, looking at the opportunity of having his opponent, staring straight up at him. Essentially, that's one of the things that made the Bray Wyatt character, so good, and which just puts it over with the Fiend, because the last thing you saw before getting knocked the fuck out was the crazy ass face of Bray Wyatt kissing you on the forehead, and now the Fiend is the last thing you see. And he looks straight down and he kisses your forehead and then whips your neck. I think it's fantastic. And Jay White, what he does when he takes the time to do it properly, which doesn't happen much these days, when I mean properly, like build some drama to it, he does a throat cut, like a throat slash with his thumb, across the throat of his opponent. Yeah, which is and in both circumstances, it's really cool. I love Sister Abigail. It looks great. It's a protected finisher as well, and I think it's even cooler now with the Fiend. It works great. The mandible claw is one thing, but Sister Abigail, man, it's special. It's special. I love it. So
I'll admit that was in my reserves, the Sister Abigail. But the thing I like about it is that he can hit it as a out of nowhere impact move. Like Rey Mysterio is the perfect example of him hitting those pretty well with him. Or he can do, as you say, the whole build up to it where he has them bent over, kind of just like, hi, I'm about to fucking crush your skull into the fucking mat. Hi there, smash, boom. You can do it nice and slow, or you can do it nice and fast, and it looks great. It's a really good looking finishing move as well. So I'm not surprised you've actually gone for the Sister Abigail, and you needed to come back with something good following your loss of the Muscle Buster. So,
and I'm gonna come back with something even better now because I get a second pick in a row. I got to go up to number 6 now. It's going to be controversial.
Ooh, I like controversy.
As opposed to the leg drop of Doom. This is going to be a controversial pick because first of all, it's going to be a tag team finisher. I'm going to get the first tag team finisher in.
Nice.
And it's going to be a controversial one because technically speaking, it's not their finisher, but realistically speaking, it should be.
I can allow it. I don't know who you're going to go with, but I can allow it.
I'm going with Private Party's Gin and Juice, which is essentially a top rope Hurricane Rana right into a cutter. By God, I don't understand why that is not their tag team finisher. It is spectacular. Actually, I've had this discussion with some friends, especially with Anthony Suter from Smart to Death. And he says, well, Hurricane Ranas and cutters, they're pretty much considered transitional moves these days, so you're like putting two transitional moves. So it's not technically a finisher. And he's not entirely wrong. But what makes a good finisher is the technique and the level of spectacle that they bring. So basically you have Mark Quinn, who gets on, who tosses the opponent off of the top rope with the Hurricane Rana. And then you have, his name is just slipped my mind. Mark Quinn and Isaiah. Is it Isaiah? Cassidy. Yes. Isaiah Cassidy. And Cassidy then runs as the guy's flying through the air, jumps up and grabs him into a picture perfect cutter, like an RKO, just straight out of the sky. Every time they do it, it is a class in timing, perfect timing and execution. It is so hot. I pop hard every time I see it because it is so smooth every time they do it. Maybe they're transitional moves, but in the way that it's performed, it's high flying, it's stuff happening into the air. Man, they should just end the match with that. It's crazy every time. So I'm, like I said, controversial, but the gin and juice deserves to be considered a finisher.
I'll allow it. I like it. I think it's one of them things. I mean, I don't know about you, but with the AEW tag team division, like, so not necessarily. I mean, when was it? Last week we had like four tag matches in like one show, which is great. Yeah, I love tag team wrestling, but I preferred last week the Dark Order SCU match because it was a bit slower. There was a bit more of a story being told psychologically. Jesus Christ. Psychology was being told throughout the match. But the private parties, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Bros, it's very, very spotty. And I'm not saying that it's not enjoyable because it's incredibly enjoyable. It's just I don't invest in it as much because there's just so many spots going on all over the place. However, when these spots are fucking going left, right, and Chelsea, the one that does stand out is the gin and juice. So, yeah, based on that alone, I will allow it. And based on the fact that I fucked you over by stealing the Muscle Buster, I will also allow it.
Well, thank you. You're a very kind host.
Yes, I'm not always a dick, as many people will will allude to. But I'm a nice guy. Nice guy. Despite the steal. So, round 7. Oh, see, now you can just steal. I can't steal any of yours anymore. So, mine are all fair game. I'm going to go with a top rope finisher. Because I haven't had one yet. And I just feel like sliding it in there. And I might have got the name wrong. I think I know what the name is because he's changed it since I first had exposure to it. And the thing looks fucking incredible. Like, how somebody can make their body do what he does is beyond me. Like, I watch it in slow-mo. I mean, there's slow-mo replays whenever he hits the damn thing, and I'm watching it, I'm just like, how? How can a human body do that? How can anyone have the fucking balls to do that? And I'm going with I don't know the pronunciation of his fucking name. It's either Pac or Pock, so I just call him Pockachu. I'm going with Pockachu's Black Arrow. I believe that's what he coins it these days.
Yeah, yes, it is, and I'm stealing it.
Oh, you fucking dick!
Because that was part of my yep. It's right over on my side now. Thank you very much.
Fuck.
I mean, you can talk about it some more, but it's mine now.
I don't even want to talk about it anymore. You've ruined it. You fucking ruined it. No, I actually, in my head, I was like, he might take this one, but I've gone for it, and yeah, you've taken it, which is. But
it's so good. It is so good. Formerly known as the Red Arrow, indeed, but I mean, it's just crazy. Every time you see it, it just takes your breath away. what more can you say? It's the show. It's what defines Pac. It's what defines them.
Pakachu.
It's fantastic. Pakachu.
Good old Pakachu.
So you get another pick then. You get another pick.
I do. I get two now. 2 in a row.
Yes.
Whew. But that's the steals out of the way, so no more steals for the rest of the draft, which is a bit more... Ooh, I feel a bit more relaxed. Ooh, right, so pick number 7. Jesus, like the dry mouth is starting to come in here. I'm gonna go with a finisher that when I first saw it all the way back in, I'm gonna just throw out a random fucking date and hope it's correct. 2002. When I first saw this move, and I was a young kid back then, and I remember watching. I was like, "Fuck." That is one of the coolest damn moves I have ever seen. Like, in hindsight, it's not really... There are a lot cooler moves out there, but still to this day, I love to watch this move just in action. It's not as devastating as it used to be, but I think that's more based on the opponents that he faces these days. But I'm going with the F5.
Yeah.
Because there's just something about it that every time he does it, I just look at it, fuck, that's amazing. Like, just being able to just... Obviously, I know they kind of push off and help it along, but the rotation, like, I'm pretty sure I've seen him fucking fling someone around 360 once. I mean, I might just be imagining that just to drive home the point of you picking it as a fucking finishing move on a draft. But the way he flips it, and if it's sold right, if it's not one of those like cells where they kind of land on their side, like I hate it when guys like the Big Show, I can understand and forgive it because the guy is a fucking giant. So you don't really want him fucking bumping on his front. So I can understand him landing on his side, but the likes of like Rey Mysterio, hell, even fucking Michael Cole sold the shit out of an F5 a couple of years ago and landed correctly, and it looked great. And the fact that it was on Michael Cole got bonus points as well. But the F5 is just, I love it. It's not, like I said, it's not as impactful as it used to be because, I mean, I can't remember what match it fucking was, but Reigns kicked out of like 69 of the damn things in one match, and I was just like, no, I don't need that with an F5. Like,
wasn't that SummerSlam last year?
It might, to be honest, it might have been any of the 16 matches they had last year, and the year before, and the year before that. But I think the F5 is a move that should still be protected because it was during his initial run. It was protected as hell. I don't know many people who kicked out of it.
It still is. I mean, it put Braun Strowman away in one.
That's true.
And Braun Strowman is considered to be, he's up there as being invincible. No, he hits one and you're dead. He ended Kofi Kingston with it. He defeated Finn Balor, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles twice with it. And it's not even like no kickouts. He hits it, it's done. It's really one of the most protected moves in WWE.
I'll just go fuck myself. No, I see. I actually see what you mean. I think Cena might just be. I mean, it's a funny old thing. Cena and Reigns are the people who've kicked out of it. Like they're kind of on similar paths in terms of how they're perceived. But no, I guess you actually are right. There's very, very few people who have kicked out of that damn thing. Did Samoa Joe kick out of that when they did their Great Balls of Fire match?
No. I still no. Why'd you have to bring that up? God damn it! No, he didn't. That was my. I was sure Joe was going to do it. Like when you're convinced about something. God, why'd you have to bring that up?
I'm sorry. I've stolen Joe's finisher away from you, and now I've brought up something else that's pretty tragic related to Joe. So I do apologize.
It's okay.
But no, you're all right. I remember watching that match because I was away on a course and I was sat watching it on my fucking iPhone. I was just like, I was watching it. I was like, this is it. This is the moment that Joe gets pushed and he gets pushed over Brock Lesnar. This is going to be incredible. And he started like incredibly well. I was like, boom, this is it. And yeah, it's just F5 done.
Pretty much.
Yeah, cheers, brilliant, thanks. Next. But there you go, F5. as my 7th pick, which I got another pick in a row. Jeez, how long was I talking about the F5 then? Jesus fucking Christ. Now, this one might be up for contention. It depends how you look at it. But it's another top rope finisher. But it could be perceived as something else that has been picked in this draft so far. But that being said, I mean, I'm just going to come out and say it because I don't want to fucking talk about it for like 5 minutes and then you turn around and go, no, you ain't having it. I'm going with Ember Moon's Total Eclipse, which is technically a stunner. Technically. However, it's executed completely differently. It's come to the top rope. She does a little front flip. Boom. Stunner at the end. So I'm going to use it, but if you want to contest it, you may.
No, I think there's enough. I think there's enough difference there happening. No, I'm completely fine with it, and it's fantastic. It deserves to be on this list in one way or another, for sure.
It is one of the coolest finishing moves out there. Like I really do think that. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, "Fuck!" Like, I mean, and it just opens up like the perfect opportunity to just like sell it incredibly well. Like Mickey James is a great seller of the Total Eclipse. And
well, that was the one. I know exactly which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's the one that created. It was Mickey James's sell that created the Eclipse on Maine. It was fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
Is it called the Eclipse or is it called the Total Eclipse?
I think it's just the Eclipse.
Maybe it should be called the Total Eclipse. I like that. I'll get in touch with Vince. I'll get in touch with Vince.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, you can, yeah. Send him a text. Slide into his DMs. You got this.
But that is such a cool fucking move. I don't know. I'm pretty sure somebody's actually kicked out. It's probably Asuka that's kicked out of it. To be fair, if there was
she has,
which is a shame. However, it's still fucking cool. So I'm going with it. That's my 8th pick.
So now it's my turn for my 8th pick.
It seems like a while since you've picked.
I have 3 picks left, right?
Yes, you do.
If we're counting properly here, I'm going to go with an oldie.
Oh,
from another time and space in regards to wrestling. When I was younger, look, I'm just going to go right ahead. The Razor's Edge.
I like it.
Razor Ramon. I mean, not the tallest guy, because there were taller guys than him, but still really tall. Like Scott Hall is not a small dude. And lifting a guy in a crucifix position, a reverse crucifix, and then just dropping him basically on his upper neck. That's a good one. And especially in a time where, finishers mattered. Because you can make an argument today that finishers are, we always talk about the protected finishers because it happens so often, especially if you watch New Japan, people kick out of their finishers all the time, especially at a time where they did matter and it was like a complete end. This was really, really impactful. It was one where it had the execution, the way the opponent would land. It just looked really nasty. It looked believable. And you could be, yep, this guy's dead. Absolutely dead. Been just dropped on his neck. Send this guy off. Send a bouquet to his family. Nice knowing you kind of thing. It was super credible. And it added to, it had a really nasty edge to it, which really worked with the Razor Ramon character when he was a heel. Everything just flowed really, really well into Razor's character, his in-ring psychology, his personality. Everything worked really, really great. Razor's Edge would be my number 8.
That is a good pick. And I like a Razor's Edge as well because it's one of those moves I can safely perform on my young children. So there is that.
Excuse me, I have a phone call to make. Hello? Protective Child Services? I'd like to report British guy performing Okay.
Nah, it's a very, very good pick. I do love a Razor's. Does anyone do that anymore? Does anyone do like any variation of Razor's Edge these days?
Well, you see, I've seen Drew McIntyre do one on occasion, but they're transitional moves now. I don't think anyone actually has it as a finisher anymore.
There's a gap.
It's more like a transitional
There's
power
a gap
move.
in the market for a Razor's Edge to make a return.
Yes, I agree.
Now, round 9, so our last 2 picks. You've gone with a tag team almost finisher already.
So I'm going with an actual tag team finisher that cannot be denied.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Check me out. The Draft Master strikes again. 4-1 down. I'm just going to go out and say it because I don't really need to even
Give this thing an explanation. I'm going with the 3D. Bubba and Devon.
Yes.
But
yes.
But I think for this case, I do love a 3D without a table because it still looks great. It's still a great move. But just with a table, it just is. You have to. When you think of a 3D, somebody's going through a fucking table. So in this instance, it has to go through. Somebody has to be going through a table. So I'm going to use a table variation of the 3D. But either way, it's a kick-ass finisher. And I did, as soon as you said to me the other day, do tag team finishers count? I was like, you know what? Actually, yes, let's count some fucking tag team finishers. And 3D was the first one that came to mind. So I had to get it in there somewhere. So, in fact, actually, when you said that, I thought the 3D was something that you were going to go with.
But it is really good. It is really, really good.
I mean,
It's a fantastic move. It's always been one that that the Dudley Boys could just drill into if they wanted. They could set it up and do the hand signals, or just like literally pull it out of nowhere. And it was perfect for driving bastards through tables. So, what more do you want?
I love it. I'm a big fan of a 3D. Big fan.
Good call.
Yeah.
I agree.
I need to get a tag team finisher in there, so at least I can tick that one off the box. So, your penultimate pick. Who's your number
Second
9?
to last. Orienteering with Napalm Death.
What the fuck is that?
It's one of your countrymen, Zack Sabre Jr.
Oh, shit.
It's one of his multiple finishers, but he actually gave a name to this one. It's called Orienteering with Napalm Death, and essentially what it is, it's an over the shoulder single leg Boston Crab kind of thing. That's essentially what it is.
I think I remember seeing him do something like that.
He
But that was
doesn't
an
pull it
insane
out very
name.
often. Yeah. Well, he got the name from Stuart Lee, right? British comedian.
Yeah.
And he has apparently comes from one of his bits. That's what I understand from a routine that Lee does. And Zack Sabre Jr. is he's a smart guy, and he likes his comedy, and he thought it was fantastic, and he pulled it out. And he defeated none other than Hiroshi Tanahashi with it, which is a huge deal. But I mean, like, you've seen Zack Sabre Jr. wrestle, and you cannot name most of what he does. Like he's like a wriggly octopus of pain. You just can't you can't describe the things that he's doing. But he ends he finishes the match in a submission, with Tanahashi. And then everyone goes on Twitter and on Reddit, and they're like, "Well, what is this move, Leo? Because he beat Tanahashi." And for those of you who may not be fully aware of New Japan lore, Hiroshi Tanahashi is essentially the John Cena of New Japan. This is a guy that in the mid 2000s they banked on to bring the company out of the hole. He was a major superstar. He is unequivocally loved by the fans. He's a legend. He's a superstar. He's in his 40s, and he's still wrestling at a very a high level. He's fantastic, and he's like this huge fan favorite, an invincible type character. So Zack Sabre Jr., like noodly old Zack Sabre Jr. with his super long limbs and his tiny frame, comes over and he beats him with this move. So everyone's freaking out on Twitter. Like I was saying, everyone's freaking out. What's this move? What do you call it? And Zack Sabre Jr. just tweets out, and he says, and I have the tweet here. I researched it so I could recite it verbatim. He said, I just took Hiroshi Tanahashi orienteering with Napalm Death. And that's how the name was. And I've seen him pull it out once before, try to pull it out once before, and he couldn't get it locked in, and everyone was freaking out. Like, oh my God! It's Orienteering with Nippon Death! So you picked a finisher because of the cool name. This is my cool name finisher right here.
I mean, that tops One Winged Angel, let's be honest.
That tops any... That tops any finisher name. Jesus fucking Christ. Orienteering of Napalm Death. Shit.
Yep.
Wow.
There you go. That's my number 9.
That's a good number 9. Oof. Ooh, boy. Right. Oh, Christ. Here we go. Number 10. The difficult number 10. I have so many finishers in front of me, and it's kind of like, do you go with the one that is like iconic and legendary, or do you go with... I'm gonna go on that's a bit theatrical.
Good.
Because I like that. I like that in a finisher.
Me too.
And I've got 2 that are a little bit theatrical. So it's deciding between the 2 which one we go. And in fact, actually, yes, I'm going to go with this one over the other one, as much as it slightly pains me. You've gone with the leg drop, which is...
legendary, which is the
legendary
finishing move. It's the greatest of all time.
And it's completely believable, of course.
Sure.
Of course it is. So I'm going to go with an equally as believable move, which the theatrics are in place. It is executed fantastically well by my favorite wrestler of all time. I'm going with the People's Elbow.
Yeah. Yes.
I love a People's Elbow. As shit as it is. I remember as a kid, I used to do that fucking thing around the house. I'm like, yeah, I'm the fucking coolest guy in this house. And then as I've grown up, I've come to learn that it is just a fucking elbow drop. And there is nothing special about it in any way, shape, or form. But it's still theatrical. I still love it. And the fact that The Rock does it gives it bonus points. And I will not be satisfied in life until I can catch one of his fucking armbands as well off a People's Elbow. That is a bucket list thing right there.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, are you setting yourself up for disappointment? No,
I am.
Okay. Yeah, it puts the entertainment in sports entertainment, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I remember like I'm old enough to have been hanging out in the 90s during the Attitude Era, the Monday Night Wars, whatever you want to call it, hanging out on RSPW, on Usenet, and, different wrestling forums and whatnot. And people hated the People's Elbow. They loathed it. It's the stupidest move. Like, they really, really hated it. And it was often pointed out because a lot of, surprise, surprise, there were a lot of wrestling purists back then, if you want to believe that. A lot of people saying that move isn't believable. Certain arguments don't change, do they? But back then, you had people saying, "Oh, this is typical WWE," putting the show forward as opposed to, putting the sport forward. Typical WWE, it's crap, it's not believable, blah blah blah. And yet now, with 20 some years into the future, we look back on it and with a certain form. A certain form of reverence, a certain form of, we get it. It was cute. It was fun. It was just a moment that you'd be like, it's dumb, it's stupid, but we're up on our feet for a goddamn elbow drop. And that's what makes it genius.
Yes.
That is exactly what makes it genius. And that is entirely on The Rock, because just think, let's just say, you had decided to put the finisher, that kind of thing, it's like bounce from, stand over a dude, throw out your elbow pad, hit the ropes, then come back with with a step over elbow drop, and you decided to have like Nikolai Volkov do that. It would have never gotten over.
No.
Like it did. Never in a million years. It was just the right guy with the right move and the right kind of energy, charisma. it's the entertainment in sports entertainment.
I love it. I'm a
I
big
love it
fan
too.
of the People's Elbow. As like we said, as shit as it is and unbelievable as it is also unbelievable for all the right reasons as well. So
Sure.
I'm a fan. And that kind of keeps in line with every draft I've done so far. My 10th pick has always been on point in some way, shape, or form. And I think this keeps it going. People's Elbow, 10th pick. I'm happy to sign off with the draft with that.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. But this also but it also means you have a pick left yourself. So
Yes.
can you equal it on terms of ending on a high?
Well, you see, you were struggling with the idea just as you were picking your last one. You were saying, do I go with something iconic? Do I go with something, devastating? How do I go out? Obviously, you were going out. You were expecting to go out big, which is understandable. I, on the other hand, have decided to go with a finisher that, if I were to distribute all 9 others on my finisher list here, they would all look better in comparison. It will elevate all of my other finishers because there is no finisher on the face of God's green earth that is worse than Yoshihashi's butterfly lock. It is a shit finisher, and I am recruiting it so that my 9 other finishers and also your 10 finishers will look better in comparison. By God, John Cena's shit STF looks better than the butterfly lock. An iron claw, a mandible claw looks more convincing than goddamn Yoshihashi pulling back on a guy's arms like in a sort of a weird half Nelson and it's called the butterfly lock. That doesn't sound like something that's going to hurt you. It sounds like something that you give your girlfriend or your wife on an anniversary, and it's shaped into something cutesy, and you put like little mementos in it, and then you lock it up, and it's your butterfly lock. It's not a finisher. It is a shit finisher, and it exists only to make other finishers look better. That is my number 10 pick.
That's smart.
I also have a rule that every time I have an opportunity, I have a free mic to talk shit about Yoshihashi. I take it.
Oh dear. I mean, you can't really end this draft any better than that, really. A classic butterfly lock. Classic. Oh dear. Okay. I'm a little bit gutted that there was no Fame Asa, but I'll give you the butterfly lock. I'll give you that, or an Asta face or Asta mouth. That's a shame. We didn't see that one. However, that being said, there is an opportunity before we lock these 10 in for us to use our swap dower up. So, being the guest, I will give you first dibs to use it. Is there anybody in your reserve that you would like to bring in to take over the leg drop, the women's right, the Rainmaker, or the insane elbow?
Absolutely not. It's a quality top 4 locked in. It's a top 4 for the ages. You cannot touch that. It's the 4 horsemen of finishers right there.
I didn't think you would go. I didn't think you'd go for it, to be honest. I'm not going to go with a swap either because I'm pretty happy with my 4. It's not as impressive as a women's right or leg drop, but I'm still pretty happy with it. So the drafts are locked in. We've made our choices. Our personality, like the wrestlers are sat in the back, just kind of like, oh, what do we do with ourselves? We're devoid of any personality traits. We've got nothing going for us. Now they have 10 moves apiece. I mean, obviously the RKO is Magoogly Bollocks. I mean, that's unquestionable. That is, nobody can argue against that. That's his. He can have that.
Like Magoogly Bollocks he's like, he's the star right now.
I mean, nobody's taking that star away from him.
No, absolutely not. Like this is your guy. This is the man. You build your entire promotion on this guy.
McGoogly bollocks. Somebody in a promotion out there coin that. Bring him in. In fact, I will start fucking wrestling training, and I will call myself Michael McGoogly bollocks. So my 10 that are now locked in. I've got an RKO, a stunner, a clothesline from hell, end of days, the one-winged angel, the muscle buster, which was stolen from you, an F5, the eclipse, the 3D, and the people's elbow. Boom. What's your 10?
It's a great list. My 10. My 10. We have the leg drop of doom. The greatest finisher of all time.
Of course.
The women's right. Boom. Punch in the face. You're down for the count. The Rainmaker. Boom. That's it. The insane elbow. What's that up in the sky? It's too late. You're dead. You have Sister Abigail, Gin and Juice, the Black Arrow, which I stole from you, Dits, you son of a bitch. The Razor's Edge, Orienteering with Napalm Death, and the goddamn motherfucking Butterfly Lock.
I love that you've gone from Orienteering of Napalm Death to the Butterfly, the Butterfly Lock. I mean, you could not pick any more polar opposites.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I really, really, really don't like the Butterfly Lock. It's a terrible shit
I couldn't
movie.
tell.
It's horrible.
Well, that is our 10 picks locked in place. So, of course, the next course of action is for me to obviously get this episode out there in a nice little promo tweet on old Twitter and where else Spreaker decides to push it out. Probably Facebook, probably YouTube. But Twitter is where the vote will be for you guys to take your picks. Is it my brand, Finish Him? Or is it Warren's brand of Finish and Chips? Finishing and Chips. Finishing and Chips.
Finish and Chips. And
Chips.
honestly, I should win just on that, on the basis of the name only.
You know,
If
I
we're
wouldn't
being
complain.
honest.
I wouldn't. You've actually got some solid names in yours. You got Finish and Chips. You've got the Leg Drop of Doom, Gin and Juice. You got Orienteering of Napalm Death, and even the Butterfly Lock doesn't let you down. So you've got a lot of good names in your list.
Until you see it, it doesn't let you down.
But get yourselves on Twitter, get yourselves on the promo tweet for this episode, and the poll will be attached to it. You have 4 days from the day this drops, which of course is a Thursday. If you are listening to the next episode of DOW Draft That and the poll is long gone, then chances are I've already just told you in the intro of the next episode who won this bloody thing. And I can probably give you a spoiler right now. It's probably going to be fucking Warren, and I'm probably going to be 5-1 down.
You never know. You never know.
You never know. But it has been an absolute pleasure, Warren, having you on here. I've been kind of looking for a reason to have you on this show in some way, shape, or form for a while now, and I thought, well, I've got this draft thing going on. It seems like the perfect opportunity. So
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go on.
No, but this, I appreciate the being here. I'm really, really thankful for the invitation. This was a lot of fun. Like, and you know, a little inside baseball here. You know, I told you when you asked me, it's like I suck at drafts, and I told you, I legitimately told you, it's like, look, I'm gonna pick nonsense because that's literally on brand for me. And you're like, yeah, it's fine. This was a lot of fun. And you know, whenever, or it'd be my pleasure to come back. I just like to talk about wrestling. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, I thank you so very much for having me. It was a sincere pleasure. It was a lot of fun.
And that's the whole point with this draft. Drafts are fun. I don't take them seriously in any way, shape, or form. And if you could put a word next to any episode of Draft That so far, I'd say fun is always the one that crops up. So I'm glad you had a good time.
I did. I really did. It was, yeah.
And I'm not writing off people coming back either, because at the end of the day, I'm losing the majority of these things, so I need rematches. So you'll probably find yourself on a future episode of DOW Draft That. But even if that's not the case, I will drag your ass onto my weekly show because, like you said, like this was fun, and I think you just add something. Just the enthusiasm, the passion you have for it, I think you can really just kind of sell something. Like if I'm just very nonchalant about something, I know you could come in and just go boom and just drop a fucking passion bomb on whatever topic it is and just completely uplift the entire episode. So I'd love to get you on one of my weekly shows as well. So we've got that in the pipeline potentially as well.
Sure, absolutely.
And I'm just the gift that gives. Like. It's always an open door for people, you see. Technically, I'm just stealing people that I know will make my show better. So technically,
oh come on,
it's just fucking selfish of me. But fuck it. You got to do these things. You got to do these things with your content creation. You've just got to keep improving it. Warren Hayes improves your content.
Oh, I don't look. That's up for debate. That's up for debate.
Well, I'm sure somebody will look at this and kind of look at the women's right, and they might agree with you there.
Yeah, exactly. But strong.
But use this opportunity before you do one to plug the shit out of all of your stuff.
Well, I have I record the Mr. Warren Hayes show every Thursday night live on YouTube. We talked about it at the start of the show a little bit, but it's at youtube.com/Mr. Warren Hayes, 9 p.m. Eastern time every Thursday. So if you want to come check it out, it's fantastic. We have a great, lively bunch of regulars who come to chat about wrestling, and it's in my opinion, best wrestling chat room in all of wrestling podcasting. Everyone is super cool, respectful, smart. It's a great place. So come check that out. And if you can't, well, you can always watch it on YouTube. You can find me on your favorite podcast application as well. I also do a lot of stuff for Fightful over at Fightful.com. When I say a lot of stuff, podcasts, I do a Wednesday Night Wars podcast with Sean Ross Sapp and Alex Pulaski, where we post-show immediately after AEW and NXT. We do post-show reviews. I do a post-show review of SmackDown with Sean Ross Sapp every Friday night. You know what? That's pretty much it. And if you like what I do and you feel like giving it an inch of support, I also have a Patreon where I have some exclusive content for patrons there, which you can find at patreon.com/Mr. Warren Hayes. And I'm on Twitter. There's a lot of nonsense that happens there as well. Twitter.com/Mr. Warren Hayes.
Boom. That's a plug. That's how you plug. No nonsense. Just straight in there.
Like there's a lot of stuff.
But no, guys, like seriously, anybody listening to this, do go and check out Warren's stuff because it is good shit. It's good shit.
Thanks, good shit, pal. Good job. You did good tonight, kid. Thank you, but thank you again, Dits. This was wonderful, and you do fantastic here as well. You have a great show, and this was a fun concept. I really, really dug it. Thank you very much again for having me on.
Another incredibly fun episode of DOW Draft That in the bag, and like I just said, if there's any word you can associate with this series is the word fun. That's what it's all about. It's never meant to be taken seriously. I mean, come on, look at Warren's first two picks, for crying out loud. As amazing as they are, just look at them. A fucking leg drop of doom and a woman's right. A leg drop and a punch to the face. There you go. Such a good guest. His enthusiasm and passion are hard to match. Had a blast. Had a great time. Of course, go and check out the promo tweet over on my Twitter account at Dits on Wrestling. Nice and original. Go check that out. The poll will be attached to it. And then, make your vote. Is it me or is it Warren? You guys get to decide. And, of course, if you are listening to this after that poll has run its course, make sure you listen to the next episode of Draft That, because the winner will be announced on there. Well, it will be announced on my Twitter anyway, but if you don't bother looking at my Twitter and you're just locked in on the pod itself, you'll find out in the next episode of Draft That, which, coincidentally, I don't know anything about just yet. I don't know who I'm bringing on. I don't know what the draft's going to be. I'm working on it, guys. I'm looking at the perfect person to give me a good run give me a good run. And there's plenty out there. There's plenty on my list to bring on to Draft That. So look out for announcements relating to that very, very soon. But that is all we have time for today. It's been a hell of an episode. Such good fun. I'd love to have Warren on again in some capacity in the very near future. Great guy. He's got a great show as well. Go and check all of that out. And on top of checking his stuff out, don't forget, I have other episodes too. I have a weekly show going on. I have bonus episodes dropping every now and then. I have interviews and stuff going on as well. You don't want to miss out on any of that. So make sure you subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcast. And whilst you're there, leave a review, leave a 5-star rating, because it all adds up. It makes me look good, and I like looking good. Not only is this available on Apple Podcasts, you can also catch it on Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, now on my YouTube channel, Dits on YouTube. Go and check that out. It's a combination of my Dits on Wrestling and Dits on Gaming content, so go and check that out as well. And I'm sure it's in many other places. I mean, it's probably on your favorite podcast app. I'll put it that way. So go and check out all of my other stuff, but also make sure you subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on all my future stuff. But there you go. Great episode of DOW Draft That today on the Royal Navy's only pro wrestling pod. Probably, maybe, I don't give a fuck. It's unofficial, it's not official. It's just a tagline, guys. Just a tagline. But great fun today. As always, thank you so much for listening to the show. It has been incredibly fun. And I'll see you either on the weekly show or I'll see you on the next episode of DOW Draft That. Take it easy, guys. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Life's not forever.